Welcome to the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. We'll be sitting down with a fresh guest each week. Someone who shares the same kayak fishing passion that runs through our veins. We're talking kayak anglers, kayak companies, lure experts. Heck, anyone who's got a story to tell about landing the big ones from a kayak. We're setting our sights on becoming the #1 kayak fishing podcast in the world. You'll get a chuckle, a grin, and hey, maybe even a belly laugh. Because we believe in the power of humor. But above all, we're here to educate and inspire. So, whether you're a seasoned kayak angler or just dipping your toes into this exhilarating world, join us on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. It's time to reel in adventure, camaraderie, and the joy of the catch. Here's your host, Darren Windle.
You fish freaks, welcome back to episode number 135 of the KFO show, Kayak Fishing Obsessed. And tonight we have a hammer on, and not one of those I had a good day kind of angler. This is a guy that puts up numbers. Honestly, it doesn't even make any sense. 2,300 bass in 1 year from a kayak. That's not luck, folks. That's a system. And Wyatt and I are joined by Kayak Jack. And we're breaking it all down, right? How he finds fish, how he stays on them, and what it actually takes to stack numbers like that consistently. And this is a live show, of course, so drop in your questions. We will get to them. But really quick before we start, if you're putting in real time on the water in your kayak, you need to be thinking about safety in the same way that you're thinking about fishing. And that's why we built KFast, Kayak Fishing Advanced Safety Training. It's affordable, it's accessible, and it's built specifically for kayak anglers, covering everything from gear to conditions to real world scenarios that can keep you safe and coming home every single time. So head over to kfast.co and earn your certificate today. All right, folks, the question I've been wanting to ask all day, Wyatt, do you still have a job?
I do still have a job. I'll be going there immediately after. I'm actually supposed to be clocking in like 10 minutes, but
it's almost like you're actively working to not have a job. That's what it sounds like. Oh my gosh, that's commitment.
I did tell them, I was like, hey, you scheduled me. I will not be there, but I'll be there as soon as I can.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So what was the over and under? So if you haven't been on the podcast for a couple weeks, a few weeks ago, why it takes so much time off to go fishing and to fish tournaments. He's fishing more than he's at work, and so he's had a talking to at work, and now we're trying to figure out the over and under. That was like 3 weeks ago. I said less than a month. So if you still have a job by the end of
in my defense, my boss is on vacation for the next 2 weeks, so I think I've got a buffer. He was on vacation for the past week. So I was gone for like 2 weeks, and then we overlapped. So he was gone whenever I got back. So he was gone for another 3 weeks. So I think I have like 2 more weeks of race right now.
You are delaying the inevitable. Do you think it's happening? Do you think it's going to happen?
Possibly.
Like 1 to 100% that within a month, like by the end of April.
Right now, I'm giving it like a 73% chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. 73 is very specific. Oh my gosh. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think Wyatt's going to have a job by the end of April? We will see. Maybe his new job's going to be fishing for a living, but we'll see. All right, folks. We got Kayak Jack over here. How long should we keep him in the green room? Should we just keep talking the whole time? Let him sit over there by himself.
I mean,
Kayak Jack, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
Oh man, it's been rough the last half hour.
Half hour? What's going on?
Well, Chad Hoover called me right before you went on.
Yeah, because he called me right before.
Okay.
I don't think he knew you were my guest tonight.
Where was my phone call? I didn't get a phone call.
That was because of one blunder. Then I made another blunder in the top baits for the Bassmaster, which I've got to get fixed in the morning. I'm not going to say what it is because it's so embarrassing. But anyway, and then everybody's messaging
the article.
Yeah, I write the top baits for the Bassmaster.
Oh yeah.
And so anyway, Wyatt. Apparently, there's a guy last night said I don't have a job. That's why I get to fish so much, and my wife lets me fish whenever I want. That's true. She does sometimes, but yeah,
we'll get into that. 100%.
Yeah, I don't have a full-time job, so to speak, but I've got lots of jobs. And when you work with Chad Hoover, it's a job. I mean, I have a job. So, but Wyatt, if you don't have a job, join me and just go fishing every day.
I think I can handle that. I think I can swing that.
Eat ramen noodles. Live out of your car.
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of a lot worse lives to live. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Van down by the river.
Oh man, what a rough half hour. But thanks for getting me out of this, guys, for a while.
No, it's good. It's good. Now you're just thinking of the thing you got to fix, which is probably driving you crazy.
That's all. I can compartmentalize right here.
Oh yeah. Well, let's focus here because 2,300 bass. And here's the thing: Marty's not one of those guys like he thinks it's 23. He can tell you exactly to the T. It's 2,342. Like homie's got a counter. Look behind him. You can't see it, but he has a counter back here. He's already at 286 for this year, and he lives in Nebraska.
There you go. All but 3 are from Nebraska. The other 3 are from Kansas, which is 5 minutes south of the border.
There you go. So pretty crazy. So what's the goal? What's the goal look like for this year? Last year you set a goal, you met it and exceeded it. And what's the new goal this year? Or is it the same every year? 2,026 bass.
Up by 1 every year.
And I already got this one.
5 bass over 20.
And then I'm going for 10 bass over 20. And
all right.
So people can earn these decals, which the guy John Wilson just messaged me. He just got his 5th bass over 20. So I got to send him a decal, which I get to send him a decal. Nice. And then they get them for like increments, 2,000 bass, 500 bass, 1,000 bass, so forth. So yeah, the goal is always the year in bass, but it didn't. A lot of people, it didn't start like last year or 2 years ago. It started like in 2013 with catching just fish for the year with my kids, and it's like you ran across the United States, right? And
most people don't know that.
Yeah,
yes,
well,
I do.
Now everybody knows.
All y'all.
Yeah, that was quite a feat. Well, my kid, our local coach, he happened to be at the athletic banquet, and he did a speech on outrageous goals. And I've always been goal oriented. Well, my kids came home with me, and they go, "Dad, can we set an outrageous goal?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So CJ, my youngest son, set a goal of making 75,000 shots over the summer. My other son, he was a runner. He said, "I'm going to run 450 miles." And they said, "Dad, what are you going to do?" I said, "Well, I think I'm going to catch the year and fish." And this is in May. So anyway,
it sounds like you have the easiest goal, right? You got running 450 miles, 75,000 shots. And Marty's like, "I'm just going to go fishing, see what happens."
My kids were just like me. They document everything. And so CJ made a chart. Chris made a chart. They both made charts. They both achieved their goals. In fact, CJ the next year won the state super shooters after making those shots. And then and that state championship was in the gym he would play for that team 6 hours away 3 years later and win 2 state championships. And then the other son, Christian, he made it and I failed. So, and then I tried it again the next year and failed again. So I just tried again and finally I made it. So I've made it. I don't know. I've made it I've made it all but 3 times since then. And
all right. Does it bother you like a whole lot when you don't make it?
What's that?
Does it bother you like more than?
Yeah.
I mean, like eats at you.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm a goal, like from birth, I set goals, and so anyway, it got to where it got so easy because I actually caught 2,800 and something fish one year, and then
you calm down. Is that the most you've ever caught? 28 something? 2,800?
2,800 is the most.
How much is that a day? Someone do the math for me.
I don't know. But remember, I was teaching full time then, and I did that mostly from like May until
summer.
Most of summer. Yeah. And the other thing is, it got to be where it was so easy that I just switched to bass only. And then that's when Dwayne Wally came in and said, "Hey, Marty," because no one believed me. No one believed me. I mean, it's like
there's people listening right now that don't believe you, and they're trying to figure out, do I believe Kayak Jack or not? So we'll get into the systems of all this.
That's okay. They don't have to believe me, but I know it. I did it. But but anyway, Dwayne Wally reached out to me and says, "Hey, Marty, make this a national challenge." And I go, "Okay." And so it was free. We had 245 people entered. That was 4 years ago.
Okay.
And so we all did it. And at the end of the year, you had to submit every fish on Tourney X, which I did. Everybody did. And I'm the only guy that made it. And then year 2, I'm the only guy that made it. And you earn a cushion from Kayak Cushion if you make it, because you're on your butt so much, you might as well get a cushion.
Yeah, I bet.
And so I did it again. And then last year, Clayton Westgate out of Kansas, he made it. So 2 of us made it last year out of I don't know how many it was.
Oh, so this is a short list of individuals.
Yes, there's only been 2 guys that have made it ever
done it. Wow.
Yeah, and this year there's a couple guys on pace already. I didn't submit my bass yet for today, but I'd be like in the 3rd position there. And it's not really like who's. It's not a contest among each other so much, but everybody wants to be on top of the list.
1,000% it is. I don't care what you say.
Anyway, I'm sitting at that. I think another guy has close to 400 already.
Oh, wow.
But they're in Texas. I'm in Nebraska. So
right. You couldn't even fish for a few months. Yeah. They're down there pecking away at them. All right, here we go. C. Garrison, 7 bass a day.
Yeah.
And that it's not like you fish every day. That's the crazy thing, right?
No. I did that. Last year I fished 186 days.
Someone do the math. How many fish you catch last year? How many is that a day?
I try to catch 15 whenever I go out. And today I caught
salivating right now. 15 bass a day.
Today I caught 15. And that was like in 3 hours. And a lot of people think I fish all day. I don't. But being retired, I'm fortunate to be able to fish the best windows.
Yeah.
Especially when all these fronts are coming through. And
100%. And you can fish when there's not 1,000 people out on Saturday morning and Sunday afternoon too. So you can get out there and have all the juicy spots to yourself. Roy Jones says, I don't think we have that many fish in our state. Yeah, you need to calm down more. You need to save some bass for the rest of us, my friend.
I throw them all back right away. I get the picture done like in 8 seconds, and it's gone.
Look at you. Bart Foster over here. I've caught 50 bass in a day, so it's believable. Even more if you count crappie. No, 100%. I've had 40, 50, 60 days, but it don't happen like all the time.
Yeah.
But we're going to break down your systems here, because I'm a strong believer in that you don't rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems. And so I'm going to break down Marty Hughes' system here in just a little bit. Rippin' Lips 302 says 15 a day is wild work. Freaking love it. Mudsling 79. There's bass in Nebraska? Question mark.
A lot of people don't think there are, but they're out there.
I love it. When we have blizzard conditions in Nebraska, Marty takes the teacher sub request.
No, actually, I have a video on YouTube, Darren. A video on YouTube of me driving out to the lake on a snow day and catching monster bass that day. It was a snow day at school, but I drove the roads, went out there to the lake. It was a 20-minute ride to get out there. And the lake that I fished did not freeze in the winter at that time because they were bringing water in it from wells. And it was about 57 degrees coming in. So anytime that water would come in, the bluegills would come up in there, and the big bass would chase them, and I'd get these giant bass in the wintertime there.
Oh yeah.
That's
Wyatt, how many fish you catch a year? Do you know? You ever figured out?
Not even remotely close to 2,000. I was thinking about it earlier today, and I'm like between my practice and everything, where I go out there and I find a couple, and then I just leave them alone. So I've got, you know, my practice days whenever I go before these tournaments. I'm fishing for like 3 or 4 days, but I'm purposely not catching as many fish.
Yeah. And I do that all the time too, and I don't like that. I do not like going and practicing, going, man, I just want to catch 20 right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's as the content creator in me in pre-fishing. There's a clash. It does not work well. Catching one and then not continue to throw in that area. Low Life Angler says during a killer fishing day on his live cast, I had a live show. I went live on the water today for like 4 hours. Picked them up. The lure of the day for me, we got the biggest fish. I got 18.75 and 18, which is pretty good for here in Ohio. On the Z-Man Gobius. So they were hugging the bottom. I could not get them to come up and chase. So pretty freaking awesome. All right, let's get into the systems here. I got a bunch of questions for you, Marty. You ready for this?
Yeah.
So 2,300 bass. What does a typical day actually look like for you? Break it down for someone who's like still doesn't believe you.
So everything is already in my truck. There's always a kayak. I have 3 rigs, one for local, one for far away, and one if it's running just to drive around. But they're all 3.
Okay, so we're kayak fishing obsessed. So break down what your rigs are.
My main rig right now, because the other 2, like, they're in the shop. So I had a squirrel attack. They ate all the wires on my other 2. So.
They're in the shop?
Yeah.
You have someone do your rigging work?
Rigging work?
Yeah, you have someone do that for you?
Yeah, I have they actually are one of my sponsors, Gilbert Services.
Bro, come
on.
Where do you find those at, Wyatt? Seriously.
They take care of me. Okay, so in my truck is always ready. It has a kayak on it, ready to go. All the gear is in it. The poles are in it. Everything's rigged up 24/7. So when I get up, all I got to do after I take everything in the morning, I just get in and go where I'm going to go. And when I'm on these short trips, so I have 3 basic kayaks that I use, but most of the time I have the Hobie Lynx on because it's super light and it's about 40 pounds, 42 pounds. And I only take 2 to 3 rods with me on that when I go. I have, I take a bag of baits. I usually have my hooks. I just have hooks. I should have brought that bag over. I have a red bag that has the stuff in it, and that's all I take. I don't have anything else. And the yellow. 1 second here. It's down. I'm sorry, down here.
It's not in the truck. It's in the house.
No, I brought everything. I brought not everything, but I brought stuff in. This box. This is my NEKO box. I have that and pretty much my hooks. That's it. And then I'll carry a couple chatterbaits, whatever, and that's it. Because chatterbaits help me search a little bit. And then, but everything's in there. I have my lunch. I pack my lunch. I have a cooler in the back of the seat. And then I pick a lake, and I usually don't go to the same lake twice. I bounce around so I don't pressure the fish either. And also because so many people follow me around. So I have to go different places and fish. So that's how.
You got a couple air tags. You got some air tags hidden on your truck.
Oh, yeah, there's been threats for that. So.
I don't know. 2,300 fish a day. I'm not fishing behind Marty. He's caught them all.
I don't know. I've seen you catch them, Wyatt. So anyway, that's the basic rig setup to go. And then everything, like I said, is rigged. I'll show you one here right now. Here is a Shimano Vanford, has a line on it, and then this is actually a custom rod. It's Kayak Jack's finesse stick made by Little Miami Outfitters. It's a high quality, super sensitive rod, and there you go. That's all it. So I just basically, you know how they talk about throw and go. Well, not only with the kayak, it's with my rod. I just throw and go and catch, pretty much. And so I save so much time because of that when I go out with everything ready. And I have 3 NEKO rods. Well, I have 4 here, but usually I have 3 NEKO rods in the truck ready to go in case one goes down. And I do carry extra leader line with me just in case if I do break off. But I treat it just like a tournament. I just go and fish hard.
Yeah.
And have fun. I just have fun.
So a couple things. Now I'm figuring out. Now I know why you catch so many fish. So you You guys don't know this about Marty, but when I was down at the national championships, we stayed in Chad Hoover's trailer, and he stayed over to HQ. He let us have his trailer, and Marty gets up every morning and he reads the Bible and he does his devotion. So now it's all coming together. You're living right, and so the Lord's blessing you with
I am
thousands of bass.
But he also tells me some of the stuff I got to check. Like for instance, like right now, I got too many irons in the fire, so you make mistakes, and I made 2 big mistakes with anglers this week that wouldn't have happened if I would have just slowed down a little bit, and so that is an issue for me, that I do too many things at once.
There's a lot going right now. I don't know about you, Marty. But right now, we're entering into season, so we had our little break in the winter, and now things are starting to ramp up, and we're getting into that new rhythm of things moving very fast and a lot going on. And you're bound to make a few mistakes there.
Yeah, and the older you get, the faster time goes. I'm gonna tell you guys that right now. It just goes so fast. And like I even today, a guy called me, says, "Hey, can you come on our podcast tomorrow night?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Then I called my wife. I said, "Hey," or she called me, says, "I won't be home for supper." And then she goes, "I'm looking forward to the movie tomorrow night." Oh, I go, "Oh man, doggone it!" And so movie night with my wife, I got to figure that out. So with a podcast,
yeah. So I saw you had a Shimano Vanford. So you don't mess around. That's not an inexpensive reel. I know because I own that reel. It's a very nice reel. It's super light. I'm a big fan. And then I saw on your rod there, you had those tornado guides. I forget what they're called.
Oh,
you actually noticed.
The
microwave. Yep.
This rod retails for $450 on the site. It's on his site, but he doesn't have. This is the Bushido blank too, by the way. And you can't get those anymore. So he's substituting a different blank. I don't know if it's going to be the same price, but I have more than one of these Vanfords. And you probably want to, the way that I afford a lot of stuff is with partnerships with companies. I don't have a partnership with Shimano, but I do with Bass Pros. And so that helps me with, I'm not getting into details here, but a lot of stuff I don't really have to pay full price for because of that, which helps a lot.
Yeah.
And then I also have a partnership with Z-Man. So the TRDs, I'm not having to, what I mean. So it's a good partnership.
Yeah, no, 100%. I was throwing the Gobius today. I love that thing. It's freaking catching them. All right, I got some questions over here in the comments. We'll pause and we'll get into more. I got so many questions for you, Marty. It's out of control. Yeah. Utopia Outdoors. Curious to hear the specs on that rod.
Oh yeah, sure. It's a medium. It is, I believe it's 7 foot 2 medium, not extra fast, just a fast rod. And it's just super, super balanced. And I can feel the bites on slack line. That's how good it is.
Yeah.
And I use, usually on here, I use 15-pound 832 Suffix neon, so I can see it moving. And then I use a lefty cray knot, which not many people use that knot, but it works for me. And you can see this. You see that it's frayed a little bit there, but it's very smooth through the guides. And then I use FC Sniper line, usually 12 to 14 around here. If I'm going for real big bass, I may go to 16 if I'm pulling them out of timber and stuff, and I can show you that stuff here, how I do that. So
yeah, we'll get there.
That's and then I have another one. Here's another one. This is also Little Miami. There's another Shimano Vanford. And then this one is a Utan. I think it's called Utan. It's a newer one. And if you guys know Ewing Miner, he uses these rods.
All right.
Not my other one, but this is a 7-foot medium. Guys, this one is super cool. So it's super light. In fact, when I guide and I let people use these, they won't give them back to me. They want to take them that day with them. So Little Miami has sold a lot of rods from that. And then I got a cool. Now I do have. Here's one for you guys that I use a lot too. It's the Bass Pro. It's Signature Series reel, and then the Signature Series rod, and that one's a 7.2 medium action fast, and it's a good rod. And the thing is I never know if I'm going to get a 5-pounder or an 8-ouncer. Like today, the biggest I caught today was 19 3/4.
Not too bad.
And the smallest I caught was 13. but you never know what you're going to get. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, you just catch little fish with those NEKO." I'm going to tell you, I've got 6 master angler bass in Nebraska already this year on NEKO rig. Yeah. So it doesn't just catch smalls. Now, here is the classic. I fished with Ned Cady last summer. You guys know him?
I think say that name again. I missed the first part.
Do you know Ned Cady?
Oh yeah, the Ned rig inventor.
Yeah, Ned rig guy.
Yeah.
I fished with him last summer. This is the rod and well, he didn't use this reel. This is a Daiwa ballistic. It's a good reel, right, Wyatt?
It looks like you have it taped on it with electrical tape.
It is taped. It's old school.
Tennessee style. Yeah.
It's an old school rod.
Yep.
But anyway, it's Drew's rod from Z-Man, and he was using that, and he was so efficient with it. And so I ordered one from Z-Man, and it's super sensitive, but it's got good backbone in it. So if you're going to use a real light NEKO like this one here, with the skinny worm from Z-Man, that's a great setup to use and have fun. I usually use this to catch crappie with too, but that's a nice little rod too. So there's 4 setups for you. And if guys have questions on that, they can always get a hold of me or whatever. I can give.
Yeah, 100%.
I will say that real quick, Darren. That Shimano Vanford is the bomb.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I've only fished with it a few times because I just got it probably 2 weeks ago. Yeah. But man, I love how light it is. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's super light, both of them. Yeah.
Big fan. You got KGB41. Good to meet you the other day, Marty. Excited to try those NEKO weights. So you got people are following you around. Would you run into him?
Probably a seminar I did at Bass Pros.
Oh, that's right. You did that.
So, there was a lot of guys there.
Yeah, I love it. You got Utopia Outdoors over here. I started fishing the NEKO in the last part of last summer and was blown away at how effective it can be. I believe it's a slept on technique, right?
Yeah. Not a lot. People say, "Oh, it's overrated" and all this stuff. You know what? I'm sorry, man. Here's the deal. We have a youth league here I run. The last 2 years, the kids that won the AOY used the NEKO exclusively in the kids league.
No, I believe it. Huh. All right, so let's start breaking down your system a little bit. And I'm going to go try to get this comment off. It's bothering me. There we go. All right. So how many days a week are you on the water to hit that number?
It just depends on the time of year, but not, in the winter. Like I wouldn't have expected to be on the water in February and March here, but for some reason we've had 4 times where the ice melted and, 3 times it melted and iced over again. So if there's open water, I'm on it, and I have a dry suit that I get out, and you can catch bass all year. People think you can't catch, you can catch them all year. So I go out and fish, but generally there was windows of maybe 2 to 3 days. Let's put it this way. I've got 31 trips in already through March in 3 months. So that's an average of 10 days a month for winter. All right. And now it'll be probably 4 to 5 days a week I'll be out at least.
What does your wife think about all this? Like you gone a lot.
She's so busy that it's okay. She does a musical. In fact, she told me today, she goes, "Well, I won't see you much the next 2 weeks." I said, "Okay, it's okay. I'll be okay."
The first thing that went into your mind is, "Oh yeah, game freaking on."
I don't have to be home at 5 to eat supper with her. So I get to eat supper with her.
I love it. You guys just went on a cruise together. It's not like you ignored.
Oh yeah, we spent. The thing is that we've been married a long time. 30-something years. I don't know the number exactly, but I do know the anniversary date. But we do take time to go do stuff, and we plan ahead of, hey, what do you got this night? And then so at least 2 nights a week, and then Sunday nights we watch a show together. It's one of those Hallmark ones. So I watch it, and she loves that. So
I love it. Yeah. What is it? We had a comment over here I wanted to read. Where'd it go? Oh my gosh. Okay. That was a good one. I can't find it. All right, we'll get to the questions. I don't know. I had it marked, and then people keep on it keeps on moving it around, so it's hard for me to follow it. Yeah. So what's more important for numbers like that, right? Are you focusing on location? Or are you focusing on bait? Or are you focusing on high efficiency? Like, because you said a lot of people try this, but only 2 have ever succeeded in catching the the year in numbers.
Yeah. So a lot of people, I record everything. In fact, I have a Substack. It's called Substack.com. I have Kayak Jack's fishing intel there, and I publish my fishing reports there. I do a detailed fishing report, and I submit it there. I don't tell them exactly where I'm fishing. I just say like Southeast Nebraska, But I tell them exactly what I did, the weather, everything on there, so that they at least have an idea what's going on with it, and it helps other people. But back to your question, I forgot who it was now.
Which is perfect because the comment just said, Marty's the real deal, knows exactly how many fish he caught last year, but not sure how many years he's been married. He got you on that one. He got you.
So got him. But I look for the most efficient places on the lake. For instance, right now.
You changed the subject real fast, Marty, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there. All right, I'll let you get back to what you're saying.
I'm looking for windblown shorelines. I'm looking for, and I do use the little striker. In fact, Darren, I want to give you kudos for that because you're the one that really got me on that with your videos. I wanted to get something simple because I do have the light scope on a kayak and all that. I hardly ever use any kind of sonar except for temperature. But that little striker, I can go out, and even if you have a 2-degree difference, that is the difference on where fish will be. So they'll be in that warmer water, and it's strategic locations on the lake. And so I try to find that pattern and repeat it in different areas, and then and I always find them that way. And then I look for like panfish where I'm at because we don't have that many shad lakes. So I just look for the panfish first, and I have my crappie rod with me sometimes. I'll find them. And then, like I said, with those reports, so it gives me a history, and I just look back in the data what I did before, and so I know exactly where to go in these lakes at a certain time of the year, and they're always there.
So just to let you know, Marty in his previous life was a school administrator, so he's got Excel sheets and reports and trackers and all that fun stuff. Oh my gosh. All right, let's take a look at some of these comments. You got fur fishing. Honestly, I've never tried the NEKO rig. Ooh, you might want to change that by the time we get done. We're going to get tactical here in a little bit. Utopia Outdoorsman says, I normally throw them around docks or laydowns. Those around laydowns, the open hook. That's risky business. Curious about what other spots in NEKO works well in.
Okay. On the open hook, I don't worry about it, but I will show guys how they can fish weedless with it. I 90% of the time I'm fishing with an open hook, and I don't care what there is around, whether it's trees or whatever, but I shake it enough that it hardly ever gets caught. And then I know when they bite, so I usually get them out right away. But as you can, I don't know if you guys can see that there. That's how I have
it. You got a harness on it.
And that's a Trocar hook, my favorite, because it keeps them pinned on there. And this is a Pro V. The TK150 drop shot's a good one too, you guys. And I have smaller ones. But this is you see that little sleeve on there? That's the Snyder sleeve that Russ Snyder, I named it after him because we spent about a couple years trying to figure out the best sleeve to use. He started with the Ace Hardware heat shrink, and it was black. But black, I felt, showed up on the worms too much. So I looked for a clear one. So I reached out to manufacturers, and they sent me samples. Well, this one sent me one, and I put them on different worms. And this one did not melt the plastic. So this is the one that I ordered bulk material with. We actually sell them and cut them up for you.
Okay.
They're in little packages like this. And
I know. I have them, and I've ripped some lips on them.
Now, here's the key, though, guys. Watch this. So let's say your hook gets all mangled up in there or whatever. Well, I just like rip it off. Okay. Now, there's a little rip in there, so you just turn it over. But I don't know if you guys can see this, but when I hook it,
pull it back a little bit for those. And remember, not everyone's watching this, so I need you to like walk us through like someone's listening to it.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to skin hook the rubber worm just barely. I'm going to catch it, and then I'm going to bring that hook point on the edge of the heat shrink closest to where the hook is. Well, that's wrong. So you don't want to do that because then you don't get as much barb up. So what I do now, watch this. I will just rip it off and I'll redo it until I'll show you here in a second where it's going to be. But see how close that is to the edge of
Got
that
it.
plastic? And then I'm going to get more barb for the fish. See, and I get 100% hookups, guys. And then you want to go into details and learn more later. I got my weight and all that.
Is that a nuance, however, to that trocar hook because of how it's designed? So if you put this around shank on there,
yes, this is perfect.
Okay.
The Pro V is like the most perfect hook for this. I don't know hardly anybody that uses it for this. They use them for drop shot, I think. Or
is that a 1/0?
This is I think it's a 1/0. Yeah, this is a 1/0.
Mhm.
And I use 1/0 because trocar is a little different than others, but the 1/0 or a 1 or a 2. I even use really small ones too. Guys, I even use a number 8 hook. You know how big that is?
That's tiny. Tiny.
Here, I'll show you. On smallies, this is how I almost won a tournament, except I left the spot. Ended up getting second because I left to find fish. And I use
fine fish. Classic. Yeah.
That's what I use. On
you can just reel set on that thing. That is nothing.
Yeah, and I use that on little tiny micro goats to catch smallies. Anyway, I use these NEKO heads that I make. I have a mold that I had made, and we have 1/8 and 1/16. The 1/16 is the best, I think, because the fall rate is much slower going down. In fact, it's like I made a note on the NEKO. It's like a wacky rig, but smarter about the depth and the control. You know, because with the wacky, all you can do is let it fall and maybe twitch it. But with the NEKO, you can do so much stuff with it. You know, you can dance it off stuff, jiggle it. You can shake your rod and never move it. Look at that. Look at that action there. What bass is not going to bite that? It's like
I want to bite it right now.
Look at that.
Come on.
Wyatt, you
15 bass a day.
There you go.
15 a day. Right there.
Yeah. And anyway, my number one bait though is the big TRD, Z-Man big TRD. And I go, and by the way, they do last. I did lose one today after catching 30 something bass on it. I got caught on
big flex
down there. Now notice the shape of it. The NEKO means cat in Japanese. Well, some say it's the clawing action, and others say it's that. You know how a cat arches its back before it pounces on something? It also resembles that. So you can look at it 2 different ways on there. And the other thing
you're running real quick. You're running a Z-Man TRD. However, those are really hard to get those nails that you make in. So how do you do that?
I'm going to show you right now.
You just can't push those in.
I'm prepared. Even though that last half hour was tough.
Yeah, your life got wrecked the last 30 minutes. So
yeah, it was rough.
what are you doing over here?
I'm gonna rip one out so that you can see. Just rip it out.
All right, so they stay in there really good. All right, so that
I glued it. So what you do is you heat it up. You just heat it up, and you don't go very long. And then you insert it. You didn't see that, but I insert it. All right. Then I take it back out.
Super glue it.
That right there.
Yep.
I'll super glue. Put a tiny dab on there. Tiny little dab. And then you insert it quickly, and it will stay in there. Because I've had a lot of guys message me and say, "Oh, I lost all my weights today." I said, "Did you glue them?" "Oh, I didn't. I forgot." And so,
yeah. Well, one, how'd you get them in there? That's impressive. And then two,
now a Cinco, which I did have. I don't know where it went. I had a Cinco here too. Oh, here it is. Nope, that's not it. But yeah, here's a Cinco. Whoops. So here's a Cinco. Cincos are really easy. Now that's glued in there. But a Cinco, put it in there and glue it, and it'll go in there.
So when are you throwing a Cinco over a TRD?
If I ran out of TRDs, which is never going to happen.
So you never would recommend one over the other?
No, I would. The TRD just has so much. And here's the other thing. You take your TRD and you just flex it out like that. And sometimes I'll just do the back end. Sometimes I'll do both.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is it really loosens it up. And the more fish you catch on it, the better it gets. It just gets super, super like spongy.
I've done that too before. You can get it like you keep on doing that. It almost gives it like more of a matte, less shiny finish.
And I do use that bait stuff that you rub on. I use that too on there.
Oh, what kind? Since we just had, interesting enough, the Science of the Strike on 2 weeks ago, and yesterday we talked about the Berkeley scent release with Debo yesterday, which, by the way, went crazy. It got like 500,000 views yesterday posting that stuff.
Wow.
So
it's the one that was on your show. That same stuff. Bait fuel. Huh? Bait fuel.
Was it bait fuel? Okay.
Oh no, not bait. It's the one that comes out of a tube and you just rub it on.
Oh yeah.
It's supposed to be for like sonar, like live scope. You can see it better. That type.
Oh, it has like metallic pieces in it. Then
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that's called. If you guys know what it is, throw it in the comments.
The bait pop.
Yeah, it's bait.
That was all Nordby stuff.
Yeah, I have the red. I have red, chartreuse, and I think black in those colors. Anyway, I rub that stuff on there too, just to and then after you catch fish, I think they just taste that fish on there because you just keep catching them on the same one. Anyway, that's one way, guys. I got some other stuff here, Darren, if you want that way to rig them. That's nobody does this stuff that I know of.
Well, you've got me intrigued. Let's go ahead and go down that way, and then we'll take some comments here, and I got some more questions for you.
You can punch a NEKO.
All right.
So what I do is I mold. I don't sell these, but I make them. But I mold big ones, and then you can go different ways with this. You can put an EWG hook in it, in there, and fish it that way, straight down. You can use.
Did you bend that hook out because that doesn't look like a normal EWG?
It's an EWG, but what I did here,
it is. But did you bend the hook out because it looks like that angle is?
No, I didn't. I can bend it down though in line, but I use the sleeve to keep it in place.
Okay.
There, and so I can use that. Why you can use this in heavy timber. Now I can. There you go. How about that?
There you go.
And you can bury it even more, but they'll bite it. And then the other one is this hook here. It's a G Finesse Gamakatsu. These are new. And the way you rig those, they have a little swivel on them. And so you can run that into heavy cover as well.
So here's a question from Low Life. What if you got your hands on? Did you see the podcast last night? Did you see these new baits that Berkeley came out with, the lab series? Put one of those finesse worms or flat worms on a NEKO rig, and see what happens. You're gonna get like 4,000 bass a year.
Guys, I even here. Where do you see this? Berkeley power bait. There you go.
Yeah, don't tell Wyatt about that.
You can NEKO those.
Yeah.
Let me show you one. I don't know why I got a cup. I gotta switch the filters. All right. So there's a NEKO crawl. See the weight in there? Yeah, so when that's in the water, it's up like that. And I have a band on there. Actually, I have a woman's hair hint on this one for a band. Big ponytails with. That's on that one. Here's a Russ Snyder's one. He might get mad at me for this, but he's already been doing it for a while. Here's one.
I think I know what you're. Yep.
Yeah, the Gilly.
Put that away.
Gilly.
Okay, that's just a quick view. Sorry.
It is out. And we just hit 100 live. Check that out.
Really? But anyway, there's so many guys.
So real quick, every time we hit like 100, I always ask people like, "Hey," it reminds me to ask people to hit that like button. So we're casting this to like 9 different places, and so that's how like it all coalesces. So we're at 103. Hit that like button. That means afterwards, when the show's all said and done, the algorithm's like, "Hey, people like that. We'll pitch it out to more people." So help me out.
A new one. Tackle Max. I think it's out of Missouri. It's got a whale fin. Look at that. In the water, though, it has great action. So it's like a morning dong. He's going to have this color on the website. He said, this is like when he made for me, the set he made for me. I get all kinds of guys that send me worms to try out. I have little tests to bring out and stuff. And then I actually have a sleeve that actually fits this one too. and you don't even have to heat shrink those. But remember, guys, when you put the heat shrink on, you have to do a little flame, and it shrinks right on there.
All right.
So anyway, there you go. Oh, by the way, have you seen
little
this?
nuggets in here?
How about this? You done this yet?
The fuzzy TRD.
Yeah, and you can go all the way down. I used it up in. I had them with little green ones up in Susquehanna. Worked really good. And this little tool you can get on Amazon, and they give you like 24 of the pack, and it sticks right through the stuff. Instead of buying a real expensive one, these are super cheap, and they work for a long time. So there's another little thing for you. And you can, like, this one is just made in the end. You can pull it through. I had it all set up for you, but there you go. And then it.
Oh, so you don't. Oh yeah, because they make the fuzzy. Okay, yeah. Interesting. You're making your own
dice,
DIY action.
like the dice or whatever.
So when would you do that real quick, Marty, versus just throw regular big TRD?
Not real clear water, a little bit stained, but just to get a little more vibration maybe. But smallies just love to attack this kind of stuff, and that's where I would use it. I haven't really used it a lot with largemouth because they just like terrorize the other TRD, man. But the smallies seem to like this. And then the other thing I do is I actually make my own mini NEKOs.
Do you sell them or just make them?
I just make them, but there's a tiny one.
All right.
I put nail weights in those on them, but there's another one. And these are melted. These are reused baits, and so I make tiny ones. I have to scale down for smallies and stuff, but anyway, there's just so many. It's just fun making them and seeing if it works, Yeah. And out there, every time out there, I just try something different if I have to. But really, most of the time, 95% of the time, and it's this right here. And that dragonfly color, I checked that website. They see that color.
There you go. So real quick, tell people what you're talking about. You check the website.
I want to say this. You guys that are fishing, there was I should have brought that book over here. You got to think like a fish does. You got like Wyatt. Wyatt, if you look behind his ears, he's got gills.
He's part fish, folks.
Yeah, he's part fish.
The secret's out.
You have to ask yourself, why would the fish be there? That's my first question, is why would they be where they are? And that's where I'm going to throw my lure. I'm not going to waste time just going down the shoreline. I'm going to find the most strategic spots that they're going to be and then think like a fish. Who's the monster fish guy, the river monsters guy? Jeremy Wade, right? Mm-hmm. He wrote a book. I've got it over here on my stand on Think Like a Fish. And if you read that book, it's got excellent principles on catching fish, because he grew up catching carp, and carp are really hard to catch. So he had to figure out ways. He had to think like a carp did in order to catch them. And that's why he catches those big fish that he does. So it's like Wyatt. I know Wyatt thinks like, where would that fish be? Because he's just that good, part fish. And then here's another color red bug too. But go back to your question. I'm sorry, I went off the beaten path there.
No, it's all right. We're gonna take some questions from the audience. They've been throwing them in here. So let's go ahead down here. One, Austin West, 713. Marty, I'm trying to catch up with you in the KBF Unlimited.
Good luck.
You know where Austin is behind you? Yeah, good luck, Austin. See you in the dust.
I'm gonna keep going hard.
Yeah, right. Bass Thumb AI. Marty, do you pre-rig your baits before you're out on the yak, or you rig them up when you're on the kayak? And by the way, we're gonna get Bass Thumb AI on the show here as well. So thanks for listening in, brother.
Great question. They're rigged like this when I bring them out. I have the sleeve on them, they have the head on them, and all I got to do is hook them. And I have several bags ready to go. I have the main kit, I have a reserve kit, and then I have the big kit, which is as a big giant tub. And they're all in bags, big bags like these that Russ Snyder's also showed me, zip bags. And they're all by color and size and everything. And so it makes it. That's another thing about being efficient, is being organized. Everything that I have is in tubs that are labeled. Every bag is labeled and ready to go. So I mean, everything, even on the boat, like the leader line goes in this bag on the boat.
The leader line bag, yeah, the one that says leader line on it. Look at you.
So
efficient on the water. Why are you that efficient on the water? Or are you kind of looks like a bomb went off in your kayak?
I mean, I bring four rods with me, and one 3,600 box and maybe 7 or 8 bags of plastics by the time it's tournament time.
Okay, yeah, pretty simplistic then.
Oh, one more nugget. I forgot about this one. You ever put a tail spinner in one?
Can't say that I have.
Sand T special.
off docks and let it fall by docks and let it fall straight down, and you'll get bit.
I'll be on Santee this year. Look at this.
Okay.
For the first time. I look forward to that.
There's a reverse NEKO with a rebarb. You can see that. It's got a rebarb hook in it. I can take it out and show you. That's a rebarb. Whoop. Can you see it? And I use those.
Why would you set it up like that? Obviously, it's weedless. For those of you
when in bushes, like in bushes.
Yeah.
There.
Right.
Oh, another thing I want to talk about. Oh, go ahead.
No, I feel like you get this go. You love this thing. Freaking love it.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about the Utopia Outdoorsman over here? Got a question. VMC crossover rings have been working pretty good for me, and it looks like you hate them.
I want to be as natural as I can, as natural as possible. And the other thing with the VMC rings, if you got a Cinco, it's going to break off there. Where this thing here, all of the tension is on the plastic and not the worm. That ring, the tension is on the plastic when it pulls. Here, it's on the plastic and that. And I just think it's different. That's just me, but
no,
because I've tried it all. Yeah. I've tried it all. So
you got Bass Thumb in here. Let Marty cook. Let him cook, folks. I'm trying. Fur Fishing's got a question for you. Can I use the NEKO rig on the bait caster, or is it better in a spinning combo?
I've seen guys do it on the bait caster and a BFS system as well.
Sure.
But I wouldn't, because of the sensitivity of it. And, a lot of guys, they say, I didn't realize how you fished it till I watched how you shook it. And so what I did, I'll be honest with you guys, I watched those Japanese guys in the elites, how they shake their rod. And so I'm just like this all the time. Sometimes it isn't even moving across the bottom. It's just shaking that tail. And those guys are the best in the world at it. And so that's who I emulate, is them. Yeah. It's nothing I came up with. I just watch those guys.
So walk us through a cadence, right? You're casting this thing, time, walk us through what you're doing.
Okay, I cast it. And here's after I cast it, it's the bail's like that, right? Can you see that? And I flip my bail and I get it a little bit, enough slack out of it so that I could at least feel a bite, and it's dropping. I know it's dropping slow, and I'm not going to touch it. I don't sweep it horizontally, because as soon as you sweep it horizontally, you know it's not real. I want it to drop all the way down, and I let it set once it gets down there. Now, if I'm in a heavy, as long as it takes, it depends on what they want to do. Sometimes it might be 15 seconds. Sometimes it might be 5 seconds. But when I do move it, it's going to be just like that. That's it.
Oh, so you're not working this back to you. You're throwing in a spot.
Yeah, sometimes. But most of the time, though, I am barely moving it. And then you see that line move, and you just sweep it and get them. That's kind of how I fish it. But I do sometimes, though, I will swim it if there's bluegills around and they're on top of the water. I'll swim it right through them, and I'll get hit too. It just depends on what's going on. But a lot of times, though, I like this time of year, the colder the water, the longer I let it sit.
Mm-hmm.
And
all right.
Also,
I know a lot of guys will throw that out and they'll just work it back to them. But you're you let the thing drop and you're just kind of shaking.
They won't bite it unless it's going horizontal. That's the thing. Now, here's the other thing. When you're bringing it in, about halfway, let it fall. Because if you're getting followed, they'll hit it then. That happened. That's how I caught the 19 3/4 today. I was bringing it in, I let it fall, and he came up and took it.
All right. So you're throwing this from the coldest water to the warmest water.
It doesn't matter. You can
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I love it. Love it. So here's a question for you. This is an honest question. So what separates someone catching, a few bass every outing to like 20, 25 bass every outing? Would you equivocate it to like efficiency? Would you is it simply the lure? What is it? What are you doing differently? It's not about just this particular lure. Now, obviously you got this thing dialed, right?
I think a lot of it's time on the water. Most of it's time on the water. The more time you spend on the water, the better you get it. It's like the more time you spend shooting a basketball, the better you're going to get, For me though, too, it is time in the water. And then the other thing is, and I know Wyatt would agree, it's your confidence in that bait you're using. You know, I just go out thinking I'm going to catch a fish with this bait. I'm going to catch a fish. And then once you do that, then you've got a pattern of what they're going to do. And then you just keep repeating that. And the other thing, yes, efficiency. I try to be as efficient as possible in the kayak. So there's not a whole lot of stuff laying around. You know, I got my net, got my board, a few lures under the seat. That's it. And then the 2 or 3 rods on the side, maybe sometimes just one. But you just focus on that.
What mistake do you notice in other anglers? Because I know you guide guide for people. You watch. I know you're very aware on the water, and you watch. You've been around a lot of anglers. So what's like a lot of mistakes you see other anglers that you know is just killing their efficiency out in the water? Like, oh, that's the reason they're not catching 10, 15 bass, and they could be.
Yeah, they fish too fast. They
Too
fish too fast. Yeah, they're not patient enough. You have to be patient with it. You know. And you're going to get bit. I mean, it's nuts how it works. Like even today was a tough day of fishing here. It's super tough because they weren't where I thought they'd be. And then, so I went over the timber and sure enough, I got a few, but I caught 15, but it was over 3 hours. And I always try to get at least 10 an hour when I'm out there, but the average is usually 15 overall, you know, because of the cold, because of the heat, whatever. And also because of practice, right, Wyatt?
Would you attribute it more to time in the water, or just this lure? Once you dial it in, it's just so wildly effective.
The lure is a lot better than me.
All right,
it is. You know, Russ Snyder's knew about it many years ago because they brought it to California. This thing's decades old. It's not like it's something new. Just like the Quakey is not new. It's been around since 2002. Just nobody knows about it till now. But the NEKO's been around for decades. In fact, I give Jim Flowers credit. He used to work at Bass Pros. He was a weather guy here, weather station guy, and he worked at Bass Pros. And he brought me over one day. He says, "Hey, Marty, try this thing out." And I said, "What is it?" He goes, "It's a NEKO rig." And so I went and tried it, and I was in love with it after that. And then that's ever since I've been tweaking it and making it better. And
do you know the origin of the? Because I heard it's actually NEKO, but I call it NEKO as well.
Yeah, it's NEKO.
So what's the origin? Do you know the origin of it?
Yeah, a Japanese guy just instead of the wacky, he just put it, you know, instead of it wacky rigging it, he rigged it in line and just drug it this way and made it the action like a cat. And he named it. He actually, I don't know his exact name, I can't remember, but he said it was the fishing lure that catches fish like a vacuum cleaner. And he's not kidding. And by the way, it will catch every species of fish in the lake. Every species. And I caught bluegill the other day with this big of a bait.
Huh. All right. 120 live. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that like button on whatever platform you're on. I would wildly appreciate that. Marty, when are you picking up the NEKO rig versus like a shaky head? Have you ever been like, you know what? Somewhat similar. It's obviously different, but
actually I do. I make a Midwest. I call it the BR.
Look at that.
That's big. That's Bobby Rubeck. We were sitting around a pizza joint one day, and he wanted me to make him one with a more stout hook, a 3/0 hook instead of a 1/0. And so I make these, or 1/8 ounce. But this is what I put on. This is what I would call my shaky head. It stands up, and I use the thick stick with it, and you can use the Fatty Z with it. And you can actually Bobby. He fished. He's probably gonna get mad at me for this, but this is what he fishes with all the time. He catches a lot of chicks, and they put the TRD on it, and I've done that as well. It's not flexible, but you get it in. If you get it in heavy stuff, you can catch fish out of it. You know, brush pile. So, but I would say I fish the NEKO over the shaky head most of the time.
Got a fun little comment over here. Captain M, Beard 441. I'm exhausted from watching Wendell catch dinks all morning. I caught an 18 to 18.75. Y'all need to calm down.
I saw that one. That was good.
I did catch a bunch of dinks as well in the grass, in the dying lilies from last year. All right. See any questions over here, Wyatt? Got any questions of your own?
I had the question. I mean, you answered it with the hook, because I was wondering what style of hook we like versus. Let's see if I can get these two to show up. What style of hook? You know, there we go. So like this one right here versus the wide gap.
Yeah, the narrower one, not the wide one. The narrower one.
That one right there.
The other one would pick up too much stuff. And I'm not going to use weed guards either. I don't like weed guards. And there's some hooks. I'm not going to say anything bad about any hooks, but there are some hooks out there, guys, that the points dull right away. Yeah. I'll give you guys another secret on the rip wrap. I don't know if it's a secret, but on rip wrap, I fish rip wrap a lot. And what I do is I look to see if I'm getting snagged by bluegills pulling into the rocks. And if that happens, I know there's bass around. If I'm not getting snagged, then I leave the area right away. If there's no fish there. But the bluegills will tell you if their bass are there. And sure enough, as soon as you what you got to do though is you got to pling your line, and you pling it out, and as soon as it comes out, a bass will grab it. That's pretty cool stuff when you do that.
All right.
And have you ever like what's the difference between rigging it that way versus in line with the rigging the hook like that versus rigging it straight through?
You're going to get snagged a lot more because when you're in line, it's almost like it's weed proof by itself. Guys, don't be afraid to throw it in the weeds, the hydrilla, just throw it in the hole. I throw the whole thing in there and just let it sit and just twitch it a little bit and it gets hammered. I'm serious. And I saw one guy said, do you fish that on a river? I fished it on the Susquehanna. I fished on the Mississippi. I fished on the upper Mississippi, and they just hammer it. But you kind of got to let it coast down. You don't want to just keep it tight. You want to let it get to the bottom and just go across the bottom.
Yeah. Johnny Bennett over here says, I'm trying to get 5 a day. He's trying to get 10 an hour. I got to raise my standard. Dang right. Confidence.
Well, I wanted to give a tip here. Get yourself some of this stuff.
Line condition.
And your line so you don't get wind knots. Because, I fish a ton, but you'll get a lot of knot. I get no wind knots ever since I went to this stuff. It's called Real Magic. There's all kinds of them out there, but it increases your casting distance and reduces line memory. But it will I spray it on all my reels or all my lines there. So
anyway. You mentioned earlier, Marty, you talked about wind-blown shores. I feel like that gets thrown around a whole lot. In your opinion, how long does it, because the whole idea is that the ecosystem takes some time to set up, and of course plankton, all that stuff, and then bait fish and then bass follow. In your opinion, how long does that take, or what are you looking for, and how do you measure it? Do you use an app to be like, hey, this shore has been getting beat up for the last 48 hours, last 24 hours, last 12 hours? What are you looking for there?
Well, if wind's been blowing in a certain place for a long period of time, there's gonna be more bait fish there, and so even if it was caught the next day.
Qualify a long period of time. That's what I'm trying.
2 to 3 days. You have the wind just blowing in there, blowing in there, blowing in there,
100%.
And then you're going to have fish there. So, and usually it's like March and April is when I look for those wind blown shorelines because they muddy up a little bit and that warms up the quickest there. Yep. And those fish are in there. And I'll throw a chatterbait through there just to kind of check it. And sure enough, I get bit. And you'd think this thing wouldn't show up. It shows up in muddy water. It will, and they'll bite it. Just the wake action of it, I think, is what they feel with their lateral line on it. And then I will tell you guys though, like in the summer when it gets warm, I fish mostly just shade. I look for the darkest areas and throw the NEKO in there. And you just gotta look and say, why would a bass want to be there? And then you just toss it in there and try not to make too much of a splash with it. And the other thing I do, guys. Did I tell you? I told you about how I cane pole, right?
No.
I don't. So I also will take my kayak and I'll be about, maybe 2 yards off the shoreline, like a weed line, and I'll just cane pole the edge as I go with my NEKO. Just dink it down. And then I've won a lot of tournaments doing that, guys, where everybody else was just, they cast to it and splash it and they scatter the bass. I just go by real quiet, and the water was murky enough they don't see you, and then I just cane poled it, and you do that, and that works good on cattail, really good on cattail or hydrilla.
There's all kinds of nuggets in here. If you've never fished the NEKO rig,
I told him
I might be tying it on, Wyatt.
I was using a bed fishing this past weekend, so it works very well for that.
On bed fishing. I'm bed fishing with it. I'll actually throw it up on the bank and just drag it in and let that tail standing up, and look for that sweet spot in your bed, which usually you can see it. It's usually the size of a silver dollar in there. If you can get it on there, you're going to get bit. I did that at Lake Fork last year. Remember, guys, I got my personal best bass last year at Lake Fork in the morning, a 23.5 on that same color NEKO rig I just showed you. And in the afternoon, 100 yards away, I caught a 23.75 on the same rig.
Some 7-pound fish there.
Yeah.
It's a nice bass. So what's your color go to? Do you usually just go the green pumpkin all the way with the TRDs, or do you like, hey, you get a little wild and crazy?
Yeah, green pumpkin and molten craw is good. I use a gold.
Okay.
I make a gold one for that, or a red bug, or can you see that red bug or black? And then the other one is, I thought I had one out, is hot craw. You guys seen that before? Here it is. Here's hot craw is a good color, guys, especially early season. There's a hot craw red. It's kind of a red.
Right now I'd be throwing that. Yeah. Heck yeah.
And then I got, look at that
on Santee as well whenever they come down.
That looks like that's just juicy, man. They're gonna bite it.
Yeah.
And so I use that too.
Sounds like you have your hands in a lot of different things, Marty. So you're making a lot. So what else do you make? And here, this is your chance to. Oh, there's the question for fishing. You and I are thinking the same thing. Can I buy NEKO weights, or do I have to make my own? I just set the softball, Marty. Knock that out of the park.
I have a website, and UPS comes by and we ship them out, or post office. I live right across the street from the post office, and UPS is a block away as well. So, but I ship them out of these. I have the sleeves. I'm not, guys, I could care less if you buy them or not, but if you want these weights, I got them, and I got thousands of them. I can paint 250 an hour. We can manufacture 1,500 an hour through a person that I use, or I can make 250 an hour here on my own shop. But we have plenty in stock right now that I just, because we shipped out to a lot of stores. We have tackle shops they're in, and then the sleeves, guys, and they're priced right. They're super cheap. You get 10 samples. We have 1/8 and 1/16. That website, if you just go to Google Kayak Jack Outdoors, Kayak Jack Outdoors, that's the website.
And that's JAK, right? Kayak JAK
yeah.
Outdoors. There you go.
Yeah. And here, maybe they could do, and this is my, they could scan that later, but that you scan that.
Get your phone out. Leave it up there. Leave it up there.
I will. That's my Intel page.
Back it up a little bit. It's a little furry.
Okay.
That's
my Intel page. That's where I put articles up. There is a paid part of it, and there's also a free part, but most of the time it's free. Everything's free pretty much. I'm getting to the point where I'm going to do some lives with my phone. I just can't do it around here because our lakes are too small, and the hole buzzards, man, will get them. So I gotta be careful, and I don't mean
especially
that.
If you keep busting 15 an hour.
Yeah,
I love Captain's Captain O is Beard 441. What a sales pitch!
Yeah,
what a sale. Here's Marty. I don't care if you buy them, but if you want them, I got them. I mean,
I gotta pay for my new teeth. Getting in.
I got them.
New teeth. I had 4 implants done, so I could eat.
Bro, that sounds expensive.
30. You know what? I'll be honest. It was 30, about 32,000 out of pocket.
Wow. How many NEKO weights do you have to sell?
I need to sell another 2 million.
I don't care if you buy them. I got them if you need them. I need till 2 million. If you need a mill,
go extra light on the super glue whenever you put them in there.
I haven't had to sell any fishing stuff yet, but
he sells super glue that doubles as lubricant.
We will throw in a bottle of gel. With the order of $150, we'll throw in a bottle of gel.
Marty's like, I lose money on these. Just go to my website.
And don't forget,
hemorrhaging cash.
Also, guys, the Trocar. I use Trocar, man. They're locked on it, and I've used a lot of hooks, and those are about the best that I've had.
I like Trocar. I use Trocar for my punch rigs. I just started using those, and so they make some nice ones there.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So anyway.
All right. That made me chuckle. Thank you
Let me see. I got some.
Captain M.O. is Beard 441. Homie, you got to change your name. Something else. That is long, and I don't even understand what's going on here. How much are those? You never told us the price. You said they're cheap.
They're like $4 and something, I think, for 10. But wait, Darren, I got a better deal. There's a Wendell.
$4 sounds pretty good, Marty.
Wendell 15. If you use that code, capital letters Wendell, WENDELL 15, you get a 15% discount right now.
Well, check that out, folks. Wendell 15.
Wendell 15.
Now he needs to sell $3 million to cover his implants.
I hardly make anything. I just love hearing people catching fish with them. That's a cool thing. So
there you go.
And I enjoy
giving them away. He's like, free shipping. I lose money on this.
You get free shipping on $50 orders.
Look at you. Look at you. No, I got like the 4 or 5 packets that you sent me, and I've already gone through one, and they're in my tackle box. And I had them on last year, and I was catching them on Mosquito Lake, and I just need to get it back into the rotation. Well, so you've inspired me, Marty. You've inspired me.
You bet. We're working with Logan Greeno, who's the president of the Husker Bass Club. He actually makes, I'm going to give him a plug, Revive Baits. He makes he uses my NEKO heads. He actually had them at the Classic, and he had some of my NEKO heads, and they go, can we buy those? I was supposed to give him some, and I didn't, to take down there. But people wanted to buy him because he had an aquarium showing him how it works. And remember, those heads make a sound on the rocks, a little clicking sound like a crawdad does, where the needle weights won't do that for you, the nail weights. So that's a plus to that as well. But anyway, we're thinking about making kits, NEKO kits, that you get the hooks, the sleeves, the weights, all in there, all pre-made, and then you just go out and fish with it.
And Marty's selling them for 99 cents.
You get him in a box of cereal.
Box of Cracker Jack box. Just give it away. What's your confidence depth range?
Depth range. I'm a bank beater by trade.
Okay.
And so, it doesn't have to be shallow. Like I do have some lakes that I go to that there's deep spots, but it's got timber in it and stuff, or there's deep rock down there. It doesn't matter, but the deeper you go, the heavier weight you want to use to get it down a little bit quicker, because if the 1/16 doesn't really work in 15 foot of water as well.
Okay.
So, but I'm using 1/16 the majority of the time in between 1 to 3 foot of water, maybe 4 in there. Mm-hmm. And because I like that slow rate of fall, and why I know you like docks. These things are just unreal in the docks. Yeah. And the only thing is with the spinning rod, you got to be ready because they will take you into the wires real fast. So, you got to be ready for that. So sometimes, might use heavier line if you have to get them out, horse them out. But the rods that I use can handle it, So
is it a fun testimonial when someone is it wildly satisfying? When someone's like, hey, thank you so much. Here's the fish that I caught on your rig. How often does that happen? Probably often.
Every day. Every single day when in the fishing season, somebody messages me or sends a picture and says, hey, I just caught this on your NEKO weight or with my worm or whatever. And some guys say color doesn't matter, go whatever. I don't, I just think here's the deal. If you can give people confidence in something, they're going to catch fish. That's the key, And I have had people
harness the confidence you have for me with this lure. No, I just fished it wrong. I'm fishing it too fast. I know I need to slow that down.
Even I coached most of my life, 40 years of coaching. And if I didn't show confidence as a coach, what are my athletes going to think? So I always went in thinking I'm going to win. I'm going to win. But I don't say win. I just say, look, the way we have best success is by doing this. And this is what we do. This is the confidence we have in what we do. And I don't worry about what anybody else does. I can only control me. I can't control what anybody else says, does, or thinks. And I can't control the fish, but I can try to adapt to what they want.
Hey, you can. You sure can. Control the fish. 2,600 fish, 2,800 fish in a year. You control them. You own them.
I do want to say though too, if they want to get involved in that, on Tourney X Fishing for 2026, it's $10.
Oh yeah, there we go.
That it pays for the Tourney X fees and for Joshua Booth, bless his heart, for judging all those fish. He's already judged over 7,000 fish on there. And we have 202 anglers. Yeah, 202 anglers.
The real hero of the story.
Yeah.
That man.
So that is it's a national challenge. You can earn it. Oh, and then the other thing is if you make it, when you make it, you get a kayak cushion. We're having a drawing for a kayak, a drawing for an SUP, a drawing for a lifetime membership to KBF. And there. So, and also plug the KBF. You got the Greenhorn. If you just wanted to kind of the same thing, they have an unlimited thing there too as well. You know what? I got one more thing here. Safety wise, this is in the course.
Mediocre.
Yeah, guys, get you one of these. I've had to use it twice already. No kidding, twice already. This is a package one, not the one I've used, but I have one on my life jacket, a little one.
So really quick, do you have the Yak? Because they came out with 2 smaller sizes.
Yeah, I have the mini one.
The mini one. Got it. Yep. I was at the Bassmaster Classic, and Chad Hoover and I come up to Captain Mike, and he's like, "Oh, wait 1 second." He reaches under his and he pulls out and gives us like 3 each. I was like, "Holy cow, this is going to be awesome!" But yes, it is in the K-Fast course.
Yeah, K-Fast course. Yeah, and I was the first guy to take that, wasn't I, Darren?
Yes, you were, my friend. You'll be the first one to take the advance as well.
This is why they asked me to do it first, guys, because I'm not very smart, and they wanted to see if a third grade mentality could make it, and I passed it.
I love it. So here's an interesting little comment. Great wisdom. I talked to Marty on the phone a few months ago about my youth fishing in Northman Anglers. I wish he was my principal. And the Northman Anglers is actually going through K-Fast. That whole group is going through K-Fast. Young anglers staying safe on the water. I loved it. They sent me a photo, and there's like 10 or 15 kids in there watching the course together. I was like, it'll take a little bit of time, but eventually safety will be a standard. In the sport that we all love.
And you know that I had a meeting with Nebraska fisheries guy in charge of Nebraska fishing, yesterday, the youth fishing thing yesterday. And he was supposed to have taken it today, and he's going to have all of the instructors take the K-Fast here in Nebraska. And we have over 1,000. Yeah.
It's a lot, folks. That's a lot. Start getting at the state level. Should be really, really exciting. All right, Marty.
Take the course.
Head over to kfast.co. Take that course if you haven't. It's 9 different lessons in there. It is basics. I've been fishing for a long time. Must be some refreshers. A lot of people have told me like, "Oh, I've been fishing for 15 years. A lot of stuff is a really great refresher." And sometimes it's not even about it's not even for you. A lot of times it's for you to be able to teach others, right? So it gives you that nice framework. So check that out. Marty, last question for you. We're gonna land this plane. I'm tired. I was on with Debo last night and Wyatt. Wyatt's supposed to be at work right now. I should have been there an hour ago. Probably gonna get fired. So he doesn't care. I don't care. But we'll see what happens. My gosh, cracks me up.
Yeah.
Last question for you, Marty. What should every kayak angler start doing that they're not doing right now? It doesn't have to do anything with the NEKO rig.
Number 1, wear your PFD before you go to the ramp.
Okay, why you say before you go to the ramp? This is interesting.
Great question. I've seen 2 things I didn't see the actual thing happen, but one of them was actually Chad Hoover who slipped on the ramp.
What?
Yeah.
I know. I have millions of views because of it. So thank you, Chad.
You're right. The other one was Christine Fisher who fell down. I feel bad for her. She hurt her eye and she fell down on a ramp. I don't know.
That was recently.
Yeah, just this last week.
I saw that her face is all messed up, but she didn't give any context to what happened.
Yeah, and she's the most agile person in the world because you've seen her on a kayak walking around. You don't know when something's going to happen. But here's the deal: you're wearing your PFD on the ramp before you get to the ramp. If you would happen to slip and fall, that thing's going to keep you afloat rather than you sinking in the water. Which people have died on the ramp from falling because they didn't have a PFD on.
I literally had someone write me. It was a couple months ago. They wrote me and said, "Hey, there was a local doctor in town. He slipped and fell on a boat ramp, knocked himself out, and drowned in 2 inches of water."
Yeah. Now, on that, a lot of people put their life jacket in their kayak and launch it, and then let's say it gets away from you, and there's a speculation of one person that passed away last year from that happening.
100%. Yeah.
So guy, my one thing is just wear your PFD at all times. If you got to take off your warm clothes and you put it back on, I always go to the shore and do it there. I don't do it out in the water, just to be sure. And I'll set an example. But guys, wear PFD. That is so critical at all times.
No, I love it. Wyatt, any closing thoughts? Any closing questions for us?
I think we've covered every single piece of NEKO rig you can ever imagine.
Yeah.
Right there.
Now,
Marty's probably like, no, we didn't. I still got another hour, but I've been holding back.
At the 10, I have some stuff I'm going to reveal there, Wyatt, at the 10.
I like it.
All right.
I was just staying where you guys are going to be staying at the 10.
Really?
It's a really nice area. I pulled a 2021 on a frog right off the dock. Like literally walked over there to that Gunnersville and nailed him at sundown. I got that photo coming out on Thursday, so that was fun. All right, folks. I was live last night. I was live on the water. We're live again right now, and I'm tired. So we're gonna let Wyatt get to work. He's even going to be more tired. Real quick, Wyatt, I thought you were working days. Why are you working nights now?
We have some construction going on in the store, so I'm gonna be there and just kind of watch the construction happen.
AKA, they're punishing you for taking so much time off.
Probably.
Yeah. Like, fine. They can work the graveyard shift.
Well, I'll see you
Yep.
soon, Wyatt.
Yep.
I know what you do, Wyatt. Like, what is there to do at night?
We got to move half the store is moving, shuffling because we're dropping a category and adding new categories. So I've got to redo the entire sections of the store to make everything fit.
Wyatt's like, I wish they'd let me go like right now, so I don't have to go to work. But all right, brother, we'll see if you have a job at the end of April. But Marty, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. You've given me some inspiration to go out and get my big TRDs. Go grab my hook. I will hook it up differently. It's something I learned. And two, I will work that thing differently. So not something I typically
let me know. And anybody out there, let me know. Reach out anytime. And I'm not an expert. I just like go out and practice the stuff and see if it works. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, I try something different, But everybody has a confidence in something. Find what's best for you and go out and just have fun doing it.
Freaking love it. Marty, appreciate you. Wyatt, appreciate you. And I'm pretty sure next week we have a show. Wyatt, I don't know who we have next week. We need to set it up.
Sean Riggle.
Oh yeah, Bass. The cute Bass AI or something like that. Yeah, go ahead. What Marty?
Every time I watch your show, I spend $50 every single time.
I'm sorry, man.
But tonight I'm getting off.
What you buy recently? Yeah, this time you're gonna make $4.
I bought that bait pop because I was using that. I was using that little Norby's tube, but I bought because it's bigger tubes. And I actually bought some more trailers. They were some Rapala Crush City trailers. They were actually working for me already, but I only had one left, and so I got it this year before I go to my tournament this weekend. So
I have people reaching out to me all the time and they say that. It's like, bro, every time I turn something on, I'm spending money. I was like, I'm honestly not trying to sell all the time, but I just have people on and they talk about, they get so passionate about it. So head over to Kayak Jack Outdoors if you're like, hey, I want to get my hands on some of those NEKO hooks / rigs / nail weights. And
NEKO,
send them some photos.
NEKO button heads.
Button heads. That's what they are.
Button heads.
Well, I appreciate you all listening in. We have 100 live right now. Hit that like button on your way out. And if you have not yet done so, please head over to Apple or Spotify and leave a review. So we got trying to get up to 100. We're getting there slowly but surely. Wyatt, have a great time working tonight. Marty, appreciate you so much. Everyone listening in, you guys are freaking awesome. We will see you next Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. See you later.
Thanks, everybody.